Nationwide, school districts are trying to entice and keep teachers by switching to a 4-day school week. In Missouri, nearly a third of the districts have already made the switch.
This was 100% about attracting and retaining the very best staff.
Independent School District Superintendent Dale Hurl led the change to a 4-day school week this year.
Right from the start, we wanted everyone to know that this was not about saving money. We know we're actually spending more on this model.
The average starting teacher salary in Missouri is the lowest in the nation, which has caused teachers to leave for better pay or leave the profession altogether. Almost 14% of full-time teaching positions were unfilled or filled with underqualified employees in the 2022-2023 school year. The rising popularity of the 4-day school week is meant to be an incentive to attract teachers, especially in districts outside of cities.
We're one of the first rural school districts outside of the St. Louis suburban area.
In the Warren County School District, Superintendent Greg Klingensmith led the change to a 4-day school week about 5 years ago.
I really wish this was a story about a school district finding ways to pay teachers the highest salary in the state, but unfortunately we just don't have the revenue to pay competitively. And so we were losing teachers at a pretty high rate.
Aaron Powis with the Teachers College at Columbia University says this new model is quickly gaining popularity nationwide.
We have seen a sharp increase in the number of school districts around the country that have adopted a 4-day school week.
Places like Missouri and Oregon have embraced the 4-day school week. In other states like Oklahoma, the government has limited which districts can make the change for fear of students falling behind.
There is some evidence suggesting that students do not learn quite as much in a 4-day school week as in a 5-day school week, in part because the school week is actually a little bit shorter. Moving from 5 days to 4 often results in a slight reduction in the amount of instructional time that students experience, and instructional time is a really strong predictor of what students learn.
So the first thing that came to my mind, of course, being a former teacher, is just the worry on the at-risk students.
Independence parents like Angie Judy are still adjusting to the changes this year.
It was told to us that it was to retain teachers, but I really think there's different ways we can take care of teachers than to do this to a lot of people's families.
And while Independence offers childcare for K-8 students on those days off, it costs $30 each week.
And I've actually had a few friends who've left the district because they're like, well, if I have to pay for a full day, why not just send them to private school, because I want my kid in school 5 days.
Superintendent Hurl says the district engaged with parents about the changes so they wouldn't feel blindsided.
They're going to get into a routine, and you're not going to have the need for the childcare that you thought you were going to. Families will do other things with their children instead of using the school district, and that really has been the case.
Powis says he expects this issue to crop up more as more districts turn to this model.
For many families, the 5th day is a challenge because they have to provide care for their children who are not being supervised in school. And that can be a direct cost for parents, either by having to hire child care coverage or by staying home and supervising children at the expense of other things they could be doing with that time.
As for whether the shift to 4 days has been successful, Hurl says it's too early to tell, but the results they are seeing in Independence so far are promising.
The number of applicants that we did have for our open positions, it went up by more than 4 times what we had the previous year. So I think it's helping on the retention piece, but then as far as attracting qualified candidates, without a doubt, we saw a huge increase.
But learning loss is a concern. Missouri law requires that all students must have the same number of instructional hours, regardless of how many days they're in school.
So did you make
In places like Warren County, teachers like Gina Deldine say the time is made up with slightly longer days where the teachers themselves are rested and ready to teach.
I want people to know that even though it's just 4 days, you are getting 4 quality days. And as the saying goes, it's quality over quantity. And we're all very productive, I've noticed. We don't waste time because we have 4 days. And we are getting as much of their education in those 4 days as we can.
And Warren County Superintendent Greg Klingensmith says the numbers show that students are not declining academically.
Reading levels are about the same for kids. Test scores are, now the COVID threw a lot of our data off, but what we're seeing is we're about where we were before. So it's not like we're seeing a big drop in student achievement. We've tried to run 2 tax levies to try to increase teacher pay. Both of those have failed. And so this has really worked out well for us to retain our staff, give a positive working environment, and then have the best teachers in front of our kids.
As schools across the country juggle things like budget constraints and teacher loss, the shift to a 4-day school week may be a new reality in years to come. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Gabrielle Hayes.